think we are live. Let me do a quick little refresh. Sorry gang, just firing up, making sure all the buttons are being pushed in the right order, yada yada yada. Chat, if you can hear me, give me a shout with some comments. I just got to make sure my audio settings are a-okay. We all know that I can't seem to do this stuff very well. Alright. Hear me? Alright. I think Dave's floating around here, and he should be joining me here in a second. All right, there we go, Joe. Yeah, guys, we'll see. Welcome to the chat tonight. Sorry we missed last week. I was on vacation, and I was up traveling in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I couldn't hear squat. All right, I'm getting an alert that I need to speak up a little bit more. Let me see if I can boost my mic here really quick. Let's try that. See if that's any better. Okay, we'll try that. I'm getting a 5-minute warning for Dave, so yeah. Let me know if this is any better, chat. I'll try to speak up. Yeah, Joe, I know. Excuses. Yeah, anyway, sorry. I was up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and the hell if I could even get a cell phone signal, let alone internet access. It was kind of nice to be able to unplug a little bit, but my God, I felt terrible about bailing on the stream. Yeah, I know it's not often that I get to take any time off. So yeah, so we're gonna see. I think Dave's gonna be here tonight. Yeah, we're working on him. He gave me a 5-minute warning. Alex is not gonna be here tonight. He's got some prior commitments, and we just couldn't swing it today. And Robert, I'm going to try really hard to get him online. If I see him, I'm definitely going to pester him. The man needs to come in and take a bow. I tell you what, you guys are going to be staggered by the amount of progress this guy's made. I cannot believe the tunnel vision. I cannot believe what he's been knocking out left and right. It's been really, really impressive. We'll kind of run through. I've got the new build up and running, and you're already going to notice it looks a lot differently than you guys have seen in a couple of weeks. What this guy's done even in the last week alone has been pretty incredible. We're well on our way to 1.0, and I'd probably put us, right now we're doing our final testing and bug cleanup for what I'd call probably version 0.7. Where we're probably about 70% of the way there in terms of all the functionality and stuff. And like I said, it's been pretty fun to watch the progress, and it's been pretty fun to see things going. Yeah, you guys are going to probably notice the first thing that you guys see is the traditional spirit meters in the corners. Now, this has been a point of some controversy, as Dave will probably explain here in a little bit. We have okay, I'm getting another warning from Dave. Dave's life is a gong show, and so we're gonna see what time he gets on. So you guys might have to put up with me talking for a while. So apologies. Anyway, like the spirit meters in the corners have been kind of a point of controversy. Basically, what Robert's been doing is he's been progressing so fast that he has been well ahead of us even being able to like give him design document details. And so he's been just looking at No Mercy and saying, okay, that's our concept, that's our inspiration. I'm going to just mimic all that. And so he's been going crazy with things like spirit meters and all of that stuff that we weren't even really planning on looking at. And so it's been, like I said, it's been kind of fun to try to, we're kind of discussing internally now, you know, trying to figure out if there's a prime way to do finishers, if there's a better way. Dave had always kind of said, hey, we're going to look at the Fire Pro system where you can bust out a finisher anytime. and with some now we've been discussing it more because we've got the specials and we've got all that stuff. So in a second here, I'm going to get my controller together. I've got it sitting over on the other side of the desk here, but yeah. So you'll notice that first up, the lighting's a little bit different than you normally see from our earlier Uprising build. In fact, maybe what I ought to do at some point here is kind of give you a side-by-side comparison of the two builds. So you guys can kind of see what some of the differences are. But you'll notice as I'm kind of playing here, let me activate the game here itself. Stand by. You'll notice that we've got a dynamic camera going on again, and so when the wrestlers come close to each other, the camera zooms in. Now we know this is too tight. We know this off the top of our heads. We've been, again, trying to polish some of this stuff, but we like the bigger characters. I can tell you a consensus among the team is larger characters are good, but when it comes time to, I think it's a little too close. It's a little too disorienting at this point. So we're definitely going to be pulling back on some of this stuff. And I think, as you can see, as we're pulling away, that's probably too far. So this is one of the things that we're kind of working on, is trying to make sure that, like I said, our camera range is going to be a little bit more refined. But in terms of the grappling and all that stuff, you guys are going to recognize a lot of this stuff. It's a lot smoother. Of course, I've got to bust out a Brain Buster, the very first move that is just completely proper and absolutely mandatory. But you're going to notice, first off, that we can pick guys up now, which has been, we haven't been able to do that. I couldn't remember if we showed you guys that before in another one of the builds. And you also notice that the Brain Buster animation is different as well. Let me see if I can get some of these other things working. The other thing too is the controls are a little bit different from what they've been normally. We've got to remap the button keys a little bit. You'll notice that pretty tight drop kick right there. Definitely, especially if he's lined up correctly, it looks really tight. You notice we're able to pick up a guy from face down now. What else do we have here that's working? Let me see if I can get a quick grapple going. Yeah, we've got the scoop slam working. I know we've got a snapmare in here somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where it is. Let me see if I can find it. Let's try this one. Oh, that's Brain Buster still. Dave knows this build a lot better than I do in terms of what all the controls do at this point. But we've got some rudimentary running at this point. No rope bounce yet. That was a question from Sammy. And we don't have like the running moves working just yet. But like I said, as you can see, we're already so far ahead of where we were last time. I think even in the last time we had chat, I don't remember exactly where we were at with some of this stuff. But let me see if I can. We've got a taunt working, and it actually activates the spirit. You're going to see a really weird menu pop up here in a second. When he becomes special, this was Robert's way of indicating that the player one has special. You'll see it in a second here. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, player one has special. Don't worry about that. That will not be as part of the regular game. This is just kind of our way to demonstrate. And Dave said there was like a super Brain Buster in here. And that might have been it right there. I always laugh because I said it's the standard Brain Buster engine. So we're still working on a few of these things here, but one of the things that we're kind of working on now, in fact, let me see if I can get this guy pinned. No back grapples just yet. Like I said, we've got wheels in motion here, so that was supposed to be a strike. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out the controls myself here. Yeah, I said, Ralph. Yes, like I said, it's been exciting to see the progress. Like I said, we're so much farther ahead even than where we were in a couple of weeks ago. You can see, like, we've got a couple of new taunts in place. One of the things that we've been discussing internally as a team is if we like these random cutaways where the camera randomly positions on a grapple move. Me personally, I really like it. I really think it helps kind of break up some of this stuff. But I think we need to refine it a little bit more. I think that was kind of Dave's thought as well, is that sometimes the shadows don't always come out looking right, or sometimes the guys will be off center a little bit. But for the most part, I really like how the mechanics work of that, where I think it really feels like almost No Mercy-ish, where you've got some of the cutaways and some of the strong. Yeah, Joe, that's the same thing that I've been running to. It doesn't feel unnatural. Dave, definitely in the final version, we're definitely probably looking at making sure that something like that can be turned off. Oh, there's my Snapmare. But for me, I really like how I think it just really breaks up the gameplay, and it feels like a really good flow. But that's me personally. Like I said, other people are on the crew. We've got different opinions about that stuff, but ultimately, be in your hands. Damage system is in. I just didn't. What the problem is there's no way for the match to like we can end the match, but then I have to restart the game. There's no like restart match functionality in just yet. So that's why I've been just kind of like, kicking the crap out of this guy for right now. But the damage system is essentially in place. I could pin this guy right now, and maybe I will here in a second, just to show you guys what that looks like. But all the pinning is working. We have a full 3 count. We have a we said, and he gets up and he does. In fact, I'll finish the match here and I'll just restart the game. We'll pin him with a good body slam here, and I think nope, that's the taunt. Sorry guys, I'm still figuring it out myself. There we go, right here. He gets the 1, the 2, and the 3. And 3 count fall, he pushes himself up, and you get a winner. Don't worry, this is going to look a lot prettier when it comes time to doing the actual game itself. But so don't panic here, the game's going to disappear. I got to restart the thing. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, load it back up. There we go. Yep. So right now we don't even have any of the menus working or anything like that. That's also being reworked a little bit. I cut the guys. We've been brainstorming some new splash screens and stuff. Like I said, we're feeling pretty good about this being a pretty dramatic release, and we've got Robert right now is working on a ton of new features. We had a long chat last night, about 90 minutes worth, just going over all the polish. Now we're trying to put somewhat of a freeze on anything that's new, that's going to be huge in terms of a lot of time intensive type of things, but things like just getting the polish built so that it feels like a good game again, or a good game in the first place, depending on your opinion of things. But we've got a lot of other things that are just going to round out the presentation that aren't quite ready for you there. We may either show this next week, or who knows how fast we're going to be able to get all this stuff out the door. But it's very exciting right now in terms of just seeing the progress. I mean, we're getting from Robert anywhere between like 2 and 3 builds a day, where he's adding new functionality, he's getting new things working. And last night we basically just gave him a checklist of things to go over, some functionality to put in place, some things to clean up, and he's already rocking it out. So that's why I'm hoping I see him here tonight, because he definitely needs to come in here and take a bow for his hard work. And yeah, chat it's sorry, I'm flying solo here. If you guys got questions or anything else that you want to see specifically, or if you got questions about something you're seeing, hit me right now in chat, and I'll answer the questions as best I can. Sorry you're getting to listen to me babble nonstop while we're waiting for Dave to get rid of the gong show here and get him in here. He kind of gives me like 2-minute warning, and then, oh yeah, I'm going to be another 5 minutes. 2-minute warning, oh yeah, it's probably going to be another 10 minutes. So hang with us, and you'll get somebody to actually somebody else on this channel. But let me know, what do you guys? Yeah, Robert is working on the project full time. That's been such an unbelievable blessing. We're completely spoiled now. I can tell you that much right now. That and to be honest, I'm not sure that this guy is completely aware of like clocks, because I think he just kind of works whenever he feels like, and sometimes that's like 12 hours straight and he doesn't really come up for air. It's kind of astonishing. Probably not. Sammy, we got a question in here that says, can we see a back grapple next week? Probably not. What we're trying to do is knock out as much of that low-hanging fruit as possible, and some of the back stuff, I think Alex needs to still do a lot of animation on that front. But I said, at the pace that we're going, I'm hard-pressed to tell you anything can't be done in an amount of time right now. Because like I said, it's been pretty astonishing to watch the pace that things have been going. Yeah, some of the things that we're working on right now, some of the button responsiveness is a little iffy at times, and some of that is just kind of cleaning up the different animation. But yeah, like I said, our boy Robert here has been just plowing away left and right. Like I said, we're seeing updates at all hours of the day. We're seeing him, like I said, 2 to 3 builds a day sometimes. And like I said, I think he's been doing a bang-up job, and his attitude's been really good too. You can run. We're still working on like the rope bouncing, but we've got a rudimentary run in place. We're still working on some of the cleanup in terms of like the direction, and then being able to just hit the run button itself. Okay, now that is working again. Sweet. Okay. There was a time where I couldn't get the run to work on a solo button, but that is working as intended. I will back up and then just hit. There's no directional controller, and just hitting the run button will run towards the opponent. Yep. How similar is the control scheme to No Mercy? That is kind of our Bible in terms of not necessarily obviously the buttons, because the Nintendo 64 controller is a lot different than your standard Xbox controller, but the concept of having a grapple button and then being able to execute a move, and then a separate strike button is kind of the heart of the No Mercy engine, and then being able to do things like blocking and all that stuff. So that's pretty much our guide. We want something that's able to be picked up very quickly, but is still a lot of fun. Like I said, we have a separate, that's like a weak grapple right there. So I keep doing the Brain Buster just out of habit. I'll try to mix this up a little bit more, because Lord only knows you guys have seen enough Brain Busters over the past 3 months. Let me see if I can get that Snapmare working. Yep, there we go. And oh, we have a foot stomp. Let me see if I can get the stomp to work. How do you do that? Which button is it? There we go. So we do have a rudimentary ground striking system in place. So if you're looking to stomp a mud hole, you can do that. And one of the next things on the lineup, probably not for this update, but we're obviously, before it gets to be the 1.0s, we're going to have those submissions working, so that you can lock down and grab this guy in a lock. I don't think that's working yet. Let me start pushing some random buttons here and seeing if I can get. I didn't think the submissions were working yet. I thought it was just this basic ground attack. So, but even then, you guys haven't seen a ground attack in quite some time. But yeah, even just being able to pick up the guy. This was something that I was going to argue against at least a little bit, is I felt like picking the guy up needed to be a little faster. But this is kind of what we're down to as far as the tweaks go and stuff. Oh, I am getting the alert that Dave is in. Let me buzz him in here really quick. Thank God for y'all. There we go. You're on live. So watch your potty mouth. I'll make sure that the chat can hear you guys. All right, chat. Let me know if you can't hear Dave in between me talking. I may need to adjust some sound settings again, but I think you'll be able to hear you. So say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone.
They've been forced to listen to me babble for the last 15, 20 minutes. So, you know,
Yeah, sorry about
poor them.
Geez, we've had just like you know, all tragedies befell all crew members. About half hour before showtime tonight, eh?
Well, I wouldn't call them tragedies per se. I think Alex had a dinner. Robert's probably working on the next build. I was saying that my God, the man works like crazy, and he's got the tunnel vision going. So I am hearing that we can't hear you at all, Dave. Let me try buzzing you in again, or let me see if I can get edit scene, source. Let's see if that works. Okay. All right, now try talking.
Howdy ho, everybody.
All right, I think I fixed it. See if that works. I can hear him, but not well. Okay, let's see. Keep chatting, Dave, as I'm adjusting some settings.
I seem to recall Alex having the same trouble getting all the chat to work properly.
Well, it's because it's like I said, it's the software doesn't make it especially easy, and then there's just a lot of buttons to push, and Jesus Christ, trying to figure out buttons at this point in the day sometimes is always a train wreck. So, chat, keep bugging us, keep pestering if you can't hear. Tell Dave to go into his setting and turn up his mic.
I believe I am doing that, and she's maxed right out, man.
All right. Let's see if.
Damn.
We'll see. It's still pretty quiet. All right, let me sure if I can get in here and see if I can. Let me see. I can boost it up here a little bit. Let's try that. All right, we'll see if that's. Oh, that might completely blow out my audio.
Let's see here, man. Yeah, I've got my microphone freaking cranked.
Well, and you're talking kind of quiet too, so.
I do have that, seductive, lowish tone to my little.
Yeah, you sound like you got like a cold or something. What the hell?
How you doing? yeah, I think I'm fighting something, man.
You get the gong show all worked out?
Yeah, for the most part.
Eric, your mic did go up when you called Dave. Okay, let me know if I'm talking too loud. Sorry, guys. It's been like I said, it's been a bit of a gong show on my end here too, trying to get all my settings straightened around. So, apologies. If you can't hear me all right, or you can hear me too well.
But hey, look at that build.
Dave sounds somewhere far, far away. Okay, well, let's see if I can't figure out why you're sounding like ass.
Yeah, I can't imagine why, man. Do I sound okay to you, Eric?
Yeah, you sound okay to me, but I'm gonna fire up the video and see if I can hear what they're hearing.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be kind of obnoxious for a second here, because I think we've got a little bit of a lag. Dave is somewhere far, far away. That cracks me up.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of the way it goes.
I'm wondering if they're hearing like the audio. Whatever. Okay, I'm not gonna worry too much about it at this point until I load up the channel myself. Isn't this great? Isn't this like a well-oiled, polished machine? Exactly what you expect out of Pro Wrestling X. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. This is only what, we've done a half a dozen of these things?
We've actually done 9. This is our 9th one, believe it or not.
Yeah, I guess we started way back before.
Isn't this great? Isn't this like a well-oiled, polished machine to expect out of Pro Wrestling X? Okay, you sound a little quiet, but it's not horrible. We'll just try to speak up, damn it.
Well, hello everyone.
There we go. I think it's a little better. Okay, so anyway.
All right, cool.
Chat will let us know if we're completely intolerable or not. They'll let us know. They ain't shy. So yeah, dude, I've been playing the build for these guys and kind of going over as much as I could think of to talk about, just in terms of some of the stuff that we're looking at, some of the stuff that we're looking to improve. But We've got some good questions already. What's been your reaction so far to the build?
People I've showed it to so far, man, are blown away. Not necessarily blown away because what we've shown them is, on its own. So
Whoa. Okay, time out. Before you say anything more, Dave, you have successfully logged into Twitch.
All right.
There was an over-under on how long that was going to take you. I had you at 4 attempts before you quit. I thought there would be like a rage quit action going on, but and we've gotten our first jam tart of the evening out of Joe.
Glad I can contribute to the lexicon of the wrestling community.
Yeah. Anyway, please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just thought that was chat would appreciate because we're kind of taking odds on how, like whether you're going to lose your Twitch login again or something.
Yeah, I probably will. No, response so far to the build has been good. That we've been able to, just progress this quickly, and it should be noted too, like. All the progress people are seeing has been done with art and animations that have been ready for quite a while. So it's not like, Alex, our animator, has been like working 24-hour shifts, constantly pumping out new stuff. He's been a great soldier, man, and had all this stuff ready to go as soon as a new programmer hopped on board to help put it all together. So I'm pretty happy with where it's going, man. And a little surprises too, like. We never expected to, so early in the game, have things like, pausing when you get up in that crouching position. That was a nice.
How do you do that? I didn't know how you do that.
I believe it's hold down the shoulder button, but you know what? He's been reassigning buttons.
How are you able to do that? Because I haven't been able to be knocked down yet.
Well, you should be able to do it. Like when you do, even when you do a move.
Oh. Okay.
Then it's do down. Yeah, you should be able to do it.
Well, let me see if I can demonstrate that for the folks here. Hey, I'll give them a brain buster. Oh no, whatever. Of course.
Pick them up, man. You gotta pick them up. That's just a huge.
I have been. These poor guys have been watching me like do the same 6 things because I haven't been able to figure out which ones are the brain busters and which ones. Okay, so if I hold down the shoulder button, you said.
Yeah, it should work.
Okay, so that one. Oh yeah. Okay, it kind of did. Let me do that over again.
You've been playing for a while, eh?
Yeah, because what are they going to do? They're just going to sit here listening to me. That's the worst possible thing of all time. So.
Brain buster. You're doing the strong one now. See where the guy kind of bounces on his head. Yeah, that's a modified brain buster. That's pretty cool. Hey, Woody TV, how you doing, man?
Okay, so let me see. Hold down the shoulder button. Yeah, yes, he does. I'll be damned. He sits there and crouches. Now, all we need now is the nut shot, and we're going to be like that's 90% of my No Mercy offense is spamming the top rope moves and then nut shots when I get my ass kicked.
See, my rising attack was always the clothesline, man. I like that one.
No, you got to go nut shot with the bell. I have to. That was actually I take it back. It was the spear type thing. I think.
Yeah, the body tackle. Yeah.
Yep. So that was a big part of my No Mercy offense.
That was a sick looking drop kick there, man.
Dude, I know that's what I'm saying. As I said, the drop kick is pretty tight. I'm having a tough time. Not a tough time, but it's like the response between the weak and strong strike. I'm having trouble like making that break because I can get it, but I really have to tap really light on that button. If I hold it down even a smidge longer than I think I need to, he fires that drop kick. So no nut shot animation is done yet. That's going to be one of my high priorities, but probably nobody else's.
No, there's lots of polish and tweaking here to do, right? Like I notice sometimes even the grapple initiate button doesn't always execute when I tell it to. I think it's just an issue with not always interrupting the walk cycle animation, or it might even just be specifically the backwards walk.
Were you in the chat last night, Dave, when we were talking about that? We were working our way through that one, trying to figure out where the specific break was.
I believe so. Yeah.
I told the chat last night that we had kind of met for about 90 minutes, kind of talking about what's left in terms of the checklist to kind of get us this 0.7 version complete. Just make it a more polished game, clean up some of the bugs, and so we're definitely all over this, guys. It's pretty exciting. It was kind of fun to chat with everybody last night. I'm still really loving these random angles.
You like those, eh?
I really do. I think it's a really really nice feature. I'm really happy. I think it really breaks up the flow a little bit.
Maybe we could call it WWE television style camera cuts.
Ooh, that's asking for trouble. Vince will give us a phone call. Well, maybe if we wish. It'll probably be Hunter with our luck.
You know, if Matt Dickey hasn't gotten a phone call yet, or the 5-Star Wrestling guys, I don't think anybody's going to get a phone call.
Yeah, running is working. Running is working better. Oh crap! I pinned him, so now I'm gonna have to restart. 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right.
Wow, mine are lagging. I just saw the brain buster on my end.
Yeah, the video is well behind. I think some of this stuff. You and I are chatting on Skype. I think we've got about a 5 to 10 second lag, but it's all right.
Oh, wow.
The chat's used to it. They know what's going on.
Yeah, that's
Again, who will be doing the nut shot motion capture? I volunteer myself. I will glue a bunch of ping pong balls to my body and then film myself doing that. And then I'll just send it out to all my friends. I think it's probably that'll be the way to go. I'll put it up on Instagram or something like that. Because I definitely am all about the nut shot. Is definitely, like I said, it's 90% of my No Mercy offense. And so that's got to be on.
This build has the running and rope bounce working, right?
I don't know about like in terms of him coming off the ropes, yes. In terms of the ropes interacting with the physics, no.
Okay.
But he is coming off. He is coming off the ropes, and the running is working better than I thought. The solo run button is running towards the opponent. I didn't think that was working. And then the other ones. In terms of running to the corners, that's kind of working. I think that's going to be we got a little bit of detection going on in terms of the analog stick.
Okay, cool.
But we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. But yeah, it definitely feels like a hell of a lot bigger game than we've been delivering. And like I said, I love the larger characters. I'm just not so sure that we're probably in too tight. And we're probably zooming too far away for some of this stuff. So
it gets we'll tweak it.
Did you want? I touched on it briefly, talking about the heads-up display and even the concept of specials. Did you want to kind of touch on some of that in terms of hey, was that a surprise? Hey, are we sticking with it? What kind of discussions we've been having? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's no secret that we worship at the altar of Aki Games and No Mercy. But the one game-breaking thing that those Aki games did, that any kind of seasoned Aki game player will tell you, is that the game breaks as soon as someone starts specialing and you're playing against a human opponent, because you either have to wrestle with honor and sit there and take your special, or if you're a heel, you run from the goddamn thing because you know the guy's going to lay a special on you, right? So running from specials was something that we wanted to get rid of. And
well, you wanted to get rid of. I think there's some controversy amongst the team about whether or not that's that's like a big thing or not. It's weigh in, chat, if you agree or not, because I find my opinion somewhere in the middle there, because I think most people wait until their opponent is stunned before slapping on that special, and so running doesn't come into play. But I see what you're saying, though. Keep going with your thought. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
The thing is, with the Aki special system, you compare that even with a King of Colosseum or the Powerball system or even Fire Pro. In all these games, even in Fire Pro, where you can technically attempt your finisher at any time, it's virtually impossible at the beginning. And in all wrestling games, in one form or another, you really do have to earn your finishing move. You earn your special. In the Aki games, you're literally given a visual cue, and there's a certain window of time where you can do it. In the Fire Pro games, you earn it just by building up your momentum and having a good match, and you do it long enough, your odds of pulling off a finisher are pretty good, right? You earn it that way. Or like in the SmackDown games, the early ones, where you literally store your finishers, right? Or even in the Day of Reckoning games. So we're looking for somewhere to kind of balance that. And what I want to do is I want to get away from the 100% guaranteed special timing like the Aki games, and I want to give it a bit more uncertainty, a bit more of that, critical kind of wow factor. And I want you to be able to attempt your finisher at any time, but more like in the Fire Pro games where it's almost impossible to do with a fresh opponent, like almost impossible. And you have to wrestle a good long time and increase your chances, of pulling off the special. I really don't like, especially for a simulation style game, you run into what, I think the term going around the wrestling game community right now is the Brock Lesnar problem. The guy enters the ring and lays finishers on everybody, right? What video game allows that? Almost none. Even Fire Pro, you're not likely to start, laying in finishers with your Brock Lesnar call, even though it's technically possible. So we really want to give people that sort of freedom without wrecking the balance of the game, right? So we got some work to do. The first few updates to this game, we're not going to have a robust finisher system. We're just working out, well, as you can see, we're working out just the physical game mechanics, right, of the interaction of the two characters. And we've got work to do there. We've still got submissions and flying attacks to do before I feel it's time to really move on and play with a special finisher system. We have to have all those game mechanics working before you can
Heck, I think I've got my first crash. Egad. That's a first. I haven't had a freeze at all. Oh no, there we go. There we go. It's back. Oh, and I did a Jawbreaker. How did I do that? I have. Oh my God! It really is me playing No Mercy. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing.
Potty mouth.
I'm sorry. They've heard it. They've heard it.
Jawbreaker. Nice. That's
yeah. I have absolutely no idea how I did that. I have no idea how I did that Jawbreaker. Do you remember what that controller was?
I think it's up. Up, let's see button, I think. You'll see like right now.
Oh, we got okay. So I got the arm drag. Okay.
You'll see right now that we just have some developer kind of like cues. Right now it says player 1 has a special.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a big obnoxious thing on your screen.
I warned them. Yeah, I warned them that this was just an indication of making sure that everybody well knew that when that thing had special, so it wasn't going to be on screen. It's the same thing for like the 1, 2, 3 stuff.
One thing we did kind of lift, hard to believe, from the Aki system is when you are in a special mode, or you are able to virtually guarantee that you can pull off your finisher, your character will do a different taunt. So that's kind of a visual cue.
Yeah, they've been seeing that. He's got right now. I think this is that you're seeing that bow with the crutch chop is the special taunt.
Yeah, and the way our game is, the way the development build is right now is you don't ever actually lose your special state right now. We're just kind of
this said don't stress. You're not going to have like hour-long specials. Literally.
Yeah, I know. Right now it's set up to be a virtual punching bag, so we can test everything. So.
But so what else? What else has been new and exciting? What else do the fans need to keep up on? I've kind of given the all the stuff on the build. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to communicate, or that's it's been questions. Keep firing us questions. We're paying attention here. How would the Fire Pro system work with the spirit meters? That is a very good question.
Yeah, they're kind of redundant, so we have to work. We got to work something out. I'm a big fan of simpler is better, but.
Yeah, this is you're going to find, like I said, I think even amongst the team, you're going to find 4 different opinions about some of that stuff. To me, it feels like this is my own opinion, if we're doing the spiritual successor to No Mercy, specials have to be in there somehow. But what we've been talking about doing is figuring out a way where we can kind of, instead of trying to copy No Mercy or copy Fire Pro, is we do something uniquely Pro Wrestling X, and we just have to kind of brainstorm and figure out what that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. What you're going to see next is, people are wondering what the roadmap is here. We're working towards our list of promises on the Kickstarter in terms of what we're going to ship and call it, the completed Kickstarter version of the game. We have enough grapple moves to fill our promises there, but we need to work out switching to the back grapple. We need the turnbuckle grapples, the flying attacks, and the ground submissions, and then I believe we need to put in the steel chair, and we've got our Kickstarter 1.0.
Yep. Yeah, because we even have a few of the stretch goal stuff too, but that's what we were trying to figure out too. Is like, is it 1.0 with the base, or then like a 1.1 with the stretch goals stuff, with like Grimhold being in for the third character, the blue bar, steel cage, all that kind of fun stuff, and that's what we got to try to figure out too. I love this drop kick. I love throwing this thing. Boom!
What I think is really, important to note here, like why we're excited about showing this, is because if you look at what we had to show just 2 weeks ago, it was still almost essentially the launch version of our Steam version of the game just 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Pretty close. I was trying to remember too. He had him picking. I think he had him being picked up. I think we had some of that stuff working. So I think some of this was working a couple of weeks ago, but it's definitely a lot tighter than it was a couple of weeks ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, you look at like even things like the camera is better. It's not perfect yet, but the camera's better. The collision is better. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't been able to toss anybody through the ropes yet.
I have never been able to do it. I've been trying to get some of those standard bugs that's been popping up, where you're going through the ropes, you're doing that stuff. I have not been able to do that yet. So full credit to Robert. I keep waiting for him to pop on lines here. I was hoping to bring him in here, let him take a bow, but he might be in tunnel vision mode right now, and the hell if I'm going to interrupt that. So, he may even be listening right now. We'll see. Will 1.0 have adequate AI? By this I mean, can I have fun and challenging match against the computer? I hope so. Even if it's just a random button masher, give us something.
Our AI is going to progress exactly the same way the core game mechanics progress. It'll start with a very basic, really bad Legends of Wrestling AI.
Well, as you say, the AI without a lot of I.
Yeah. We got some thinking to do, and as much as we're happy with the core game mechanic progress we've made, we're still a small team, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. But the AI is, I want to be really cautious and not overpromise anything. But damn, man, if AI progresses half as fast as these core mechanics have since we brought, a wrestling gamer nerd programmer aboard, then I'm not going to pretend I'm not excited about how fast AI might go.
Yeah, Woody, could the community create assets? That is the goal. That is absolutely the goal. You want to address that?
Yeah, well, we're going to start very, very basic. We have to be careful that we don't bust out an overwhelming amount of models and assets for people to play with. We don't want to have you worry about breaking your version of the game.
Well, and especially since a lot of this stuff is we're still working our way through finalizing and perfecting some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. That we don't want you guys start building characters and assets and then us have to change something fairly dramatic, and then all those assets and creations have to be thrown out. So we want to definitely get things a little bit more mature, but even I think you had mentioned things like ring textures, some of that kind of stuff is definitely something we want people to do.
Yeah, we're going to start offering, we've just learned from, so many of our glorious mistakes in the past, and one of them is offering, too much stuff too soon, and it's overwhelming, even for us to manage. So we're going to start, ideally, with just leaving the texture directories open for the ring, the mat, the ropes, and the aprons and that, and let people experiment with importing their own textures for mat and aprons and that, and just test that and let us know how that process is, if there's any problems with that. Because if we can identify any issues we have with importing custom content with something as simple as the ring, then we're going to head off a lot of bigger problems once we start letting people get their hands on the character models and stuff, right?
Yeah, Sammy, I wanted to kind of acknowledge, Sammy kind of said, I would argue that you can have everything down to a T as far as what you, the player can do, but if the AI isn't there, it probably isn't going to be good. And so I definitely respect that as an opinion.
Yeah, right now it's, it's easy for us to make it look good as we perform, against a punching bag, pretty much. Yeah, totally. The AI has got to work well, and all I can say to that point, without counting my chickens before they hatch, is we've got a wrestling game nerd in the programming seat right now. The first time in 12 years we've ever had that, and you've seen the progress and quality of progress that we've made in just a few weeks with that kind of person in the programming seat. And if we apply that to AI and the creative wrestler features and everything else, so far there's no reason to believe we're not going to do a good job of this,
Yep. I guess you're still really quiet. I'm trying to figure out ways to maybe boost your voice. You're sounding pretty hoarse to me tonight.
Yeah, I'm losing my voice. I'm fighting a bit of strep throat here, I think. So kind of sad. Somebody asked about Steam Workshop. Yes, we want to hook in Steam Workshop. Absolutely. The big scary thing right now is Steam just busted open refunds. They've never had that system before. So I wouldn't blame people for looking for a Pro Wrestling X refund based on our update record for the last few months. But hopefully those people are watching these Twitch streams and seeing what I've been posting in terms of the progress and what's coming in the next update, and we'll be able to hook in the Steam Workshop stuff. The Steam Workshop is something I'd really would like to integrate once we can get even more sophisticated than just texture modding. I would love the Steam Workshop to let people make their own props and weapons and things like that. Would be cool, but that's fairly far in the future yet. We've got a fair amount of gameplay to iron out here.
But that's definitely the vision. Having something that the fans have input and control over, and being able to mod the game. That's definitely something that has been our goal. God, ever since we started. I mean, Creator Wrestler and all that stuff is such a huge part of the pro wrestling game experience that it's definitely something we want to look hard at, because that's all the fun. I never played the original characters, any of those games. I always started with my own guys before using anybody. I never played with any of the originals. So I definitely hear the need.
Funny you mention that, because a criticism could be made for indie developers who really support the mod community. A cynic might say that, oh, you're just taking advantage of the modders to create the content for your game, and in this case, that's actually not a terribly bad thing. We take pride in the characters that we create for a game. Obviously, Tyrador and Grasshopper here, they're not throwaway guys. We put a lot of thought into.
Well, and anybody who's been following our Twitch streams and been seeing the art that Alex has been doing on Grimhold, you can see the amount of love that's going into those.
Yeah, but at the same time, we expect people to want to bust it open and replace it with all their favorite guys, right? So really, Pro Wrestling X, I've said this before, but we're not just making a wrestling game for PC. What we're really trying to do here is, if you really love wrestling games, you want to make them. And we're really just trying to give people a little wrestling game along with all the tools and instructions on how to make your own dream wrestling game out of ours,
Yeah, be more of a platform,
Yeah, we're giving you a wrestling game engine is really what we're trying to do,
All right, let me pin. I'm sick of looking at P1 has special. So I'm going to just pin this guy and then start a new match. Because, this is totally... Alright, so I got to figure out how to do that. Alright. Boom. And then pin. Which one is pin? That? Is that pin? That pin? There we go.
I saw you were able to pin. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, because Dave hasn't tried to pin yet, and so he hasn't seen the actual pin in action. You're going to see it in a second here. I just pulled it off. So.
Yeah, and actually, we were one of the reasons we were holding off and showing more gameplay is our programmer and an animator were working on a solution to mirror animations, which is kind of sounds like a boring technical thing, but basically he animated the pin from one side of the opponent's body, and we didn't want to just physically reanimate it from the other side of the body. We thought there must be a way to actually do this in the engine and just mirror the pinning animation to start on the other side, you know, and it looks like they did. So that's a pretty cool thing they've been able to do, is mirroring animations.
Yep. Yeah, guys, a lot of you guys have been with us for a long time, and definitely the patience is starting to pay off a little bit, and it feels pretty good. We were, you know, it sucks. It hurts us as much as anybody to not be able to deliver all this stuff, but it's so exciting now to be able to see this vision start coming together. And
yeah, it's the most progress we've made since we had the idea for this project 12 years ago, right?
Dave, do you want to address some of the stuff that's coming up in chat as far as some of the stuff that's happening on our Steam forums? I would say if anybody goes in there, go in with caution, you know.
Well, you know, there is some understandable, you know, negativity in any game forums when you don't update them in months, right?
Absolutely. That's why that's totally understandable. That's not a big deal.
We couldn't update the damn game if we wanted to because we didn't have a programmer with the time to update it. And you know, I didn't want to throw our most recent programmer under the bus and blame anybody. But I mean,
nope. The guy's a busy man. He's well in demand, and it's coming from it's respectful. We're not trying to ever bury that guy or anything like that. He was doing the best he could with the time that he had, and they said we're appreciative of all that stuff, of all of his early efforts, you know.
Yeah, so unfortunately we had to spend some time finding a new programmer, and this time we said, you know, the right candidate's going to have to be a wrestling game nerd just like us, or it's not going to work, right? And we spent the time, we found that programmer, and I think it's kind of funny and ironic if all the people that wanted to be a part of watching Pro Wrestling X update and develop, if they go and ask for a refund today and then we ship an update with all this great new stuff, and a few days later it's kind of a burn. But I don't blame
well I said the qualifications for a refund are pretty steep, I think. They do have to have less than X number of hours into it, but I think they're limited to like a 2-week window, aren't they?
They say they are, but I think you can make a case for, you know, if the game was horribly broken since launch, I think you can make.
Well, we'll honor any refund, you know, going back since the days of time. I mean, that's the thing is, you know,
we always
obviously,
have,
yep.
Right? We always have. We always have offered refunds, even through when we were doing PayPal donations and stuff. So. Yep. I don't want anyone to...
Damn it, why did I put a special? I just sit there and I just said, don't give them a special because I'm sick of looking at that text. All right, I'm sorry, please continue, Dave.
Yeah, we've been really good about refunding people. I don't want anyone to feel bad about having spent anything on Pro Wrestling X, you know. The good news is, once we start shipping the updates that you see here, hopefully you'll feel good about having supported us, because if you hadn't have supported us, we couldn't have, you know, brought aboard another programmer who's been able to help us with this progress. So it's all you guys that stuck through us thick and thin that have made the progress you're watching Eric play right now possible. And gosh, hopefully we can get back into our schedule of updating the game every few weeks or so or more, and we can get on a roll now. And I can't, you know, again, I can't make any promises. Lord knows bad things happen to people all the time, but so far, since we've had a change in the lead programming, we've been getting our updates at least once a week. And
well, I was telling them we're getting new builds sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. It's astonishing.
Yeah, and I mean, no one can keep up that pace though. The guys got to burn out and fall asleep for a week if he keeps that pace up, right? But all we can do is, all we can do is acknowledge those people who are upset that we haven't updated in a while, and say, yeah,
well, and in fairness, I have done an absolutely terrible job of keeping that Steam page updated with like our Twitch broadcasts and all that stuff, and that's going to start changing. That's 100% on my end for not keeping that up, because it just gives people plenty of ammunition to say that they're not doing anything, they haven't updated their page. So the criticisms are completely legit, and so that's one of the things that we need to do a better job of, myself especially, is getting things in there and getting those page updated, with new broadcasts, because like somebody in the chat pointed out, if they've been watching our Twitch streams and subscribing to our newsletter, they know exactly what's going on. It's the people that haven't, they have no idea that we've been updating. They just hear nothing, and that's, again, that's completely on our end to fix that.
Well,
so
you can't force people to read or pay attention. So even though we have been putting out letters and doing these Twitch broadcasts and literally showing the progress on the game, if people aren't watching, how are they going to know, right? So you can't blame them. On the other hand, you can't.
Yeah, that's why we try not to delete a lot of things in the threads. We try not to do. We if something's really offensive or really out of bounds, we obviously have to step in there. But for the most part, we try to keep it as free and open and let the discussion happen without, because you guys have all seen it. You guys have all seen those games that everything is so sanitized, and you go to their forums and everybody just loves the game so much, and all negative things are immediately deleted. And we try our best to kind of keep some of that, just let it go, let people have their say, and then again, it's on us. We got to do a better job. So
my favorites are. My favorites are the really hardcore truthers. I don't even know if I'd call them trolls, because I think they honestly believe what they're saying. But the ones that post like really inflammatory stuff, like this game is a huge scam, and I'm thinking, really? I think it's the worst scam ever.
I was gonna say, if this is a scam, we're doing this wrong. Where the hell is my private island? Where is my beachfront property? Why is it that I have to
Yeah, let's put our real names and personal reputations on the line for $10. Let's do that.
God damn, dude! I swear, like I said, if this thing's we need to go to, like you said, if this is a scam, then we're just totally doing this wrong, because we're having to work way too hard. That's the thing, is we had I think Growed Up Gamers in here. He said something about, he said, as somebody who has followed the project for nearly a decade, it's really disheartening to see people like kind of bash on it and trash it and all that stuff. And boy, I tell you, I feel that so much. We feel it every bit as much as anybody does, because just like you said, this is our professional reputations, and you guys have had our backs for so long and been so cool and so patient that every time we make a mistake or every time there's a delay, we feel it so like deep to our core, so that's why we keep going for 12 years on end with all the stuff, is just out of that sense of loyalty to you guys.
Yeah, and plus, you gotta realize too that these people who are being hard on the project, and they might be over the line with some of the comments and personal attacks they make, but they're people too. They have bad days, and honestly, I get regularly apologies from people like that. When they see that we're actually trying and we're doing stuff, it's really common for me to get apologies from people who say, hey man, I said some crap about you guys being scammers, and I just wanted to say that I can see that you're trying, and I'm sorry for being a jerk. And some of our biggest supporters actually started out as some of our most vile trolls. Like, there's a couple of guys who would give us the hardest time, and now they kind of we've beaten them into submission with kindness. I think we keep showing up, and they feel bad for picking on us, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. It sounds like I'm a little off topic. RP Coltrane, he must be our Toronto guy, because he's been going to all the really cool the cool Toronto shows. I got to get up to Toronto one of these days to check out the wrestling up there. He's saying I think Dreamer's House of Hardcore is coming to Toronto, and they're bringing like John Morrison or whatever he's going by now in Lucha Underground. So it sounds like a pretty cool. Sounds like a pretty cool card. I know he attended one of the Ring of Honor Global Wars up there, and so it sounds like fun. I gotta get to more live wrestling, man. We don't have tons around here. There's a few shows in Detroit that pop up every now and again, and but yeah, we had Ring of Honor here in October, and that was a blast. If anybody's never RP's in Lansing, huh? All right, RP. I'm down in Kalamazoo, about an hour away, hour and a half. But
That's cool.
so may have to make a Pro Wrestling X road trip to Canada, then drive through Lansing. So
Yeah, no kidding. Well, hey man, it's getting late in your neck of the woods there, Eric. I know Eric probably hasn't said anything because he's a real trooper, but he's got super early day job meetings in the morning. So
yeah,
I
they'll be
think
fine.
I think we should wrap it up here soon. And
Yeah, your voice is going, and people are
let's.
sounds like you've been on the phone all day, is what it sounds like you've been doing.
Oh yeah, pretty much, man. Let's just keep everybody, waiting and excited for the next update we show.
Yeah, guys, we'll wrap up here. We've got. I'll hang out and chat for a little bit longer, but I'm going to let Dave's voice rest. But if anybody else has questions in chat, I'll hang out and chat while I'm cheating and I'm going to watch the end of the NBA game. But the ProWrestlingX.com. Pro Wrestling X is on Facebook at facebook.com/ProWrestlingX, at Pro Wrestling X on Twitter. Come follow us. Come get plugged into our newsletter that we send out once a week. And then, yeah, we're trying to shoot for every Tuesday for these things. I think it makes the most sense in terms of the timing and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, the builds keep getting progressively better and better, and we're going to try to show them off to you and maybe leave a few things for surprise, too. So if you guys get the updates whenever we can roll them out here, you guys have some surprises, too, to explore a little bit. But, yeah, I'll hang out and chat for a little bit longer. Dave, if you want to do the same, we can do it. And, yeah, we'll definitely see you guys around. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, we absolutely, man. I got a split here, but hopefully, once we deliver our first update to Steam, the updates start rolling out just as often as our video updates on Steam, on Twitch roll out. There really is no reason that one should hold up the other, really, right? So let's all hopefully knock on wood here and get ready for Pro Wrestling X to start updating regularly forever.
Yeah, and if you guys want to start a Pro Wrestling X cough drop fund for Dave, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully I'll rest my golden voice here.
Yeah, we'll get you a cough drop support, and somebody can pay for me to set up like audio lessons so that I can balance all the stuff. So
there you go, man. So I'm just gonna mute my bad boy here. And,
yeah, I'm gonna stop the stream here and then hang out for like just a couple minutes here, Dave, and we'll wrap up here. So thanks you guys for hanging out with us again tonight, and like I said, I'll hang out and chat for a little, and if anybody's got any questions, so have a good night, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll follow up. I'll see you guys later.